Hey,
Welcome, everybody. Oh, Andy, got you off mute already.
what's up?
Can you hear me good?
Muy bien, muy bien.
Excellent. All right. Found Eric. You can unmute yourself. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Good. We got a ton of people on already.
Good.
Bear with me, guys. I'll get the screen pulled up and we just got to get the coaches off mute. Eric, looks like you're there.
Yep, I'm here. Hey, Brandon.
Cool.
Hey, Andy.
Hey, Eric, how are you?
Living the dream, man.
Good. How's NorCal?
Good, good.
What's the weather like right now?
Right now, it is foggy where I am because I'm close to the beach.
Okay.
But it's been hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold. So I don't know what to wear, a jacket or a t-shirt.
What's it if you go up a little bit north to Sonoma County or whatever, what is it pretty hot up that direction?
Always, yeah.
Yeah.
Talking about like wine country over there.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Jade and Terrence, do me a favor and message me. I need to get these guys off of mute. Welcome, everybody. Um, Bear with me. Just got to get the other coaches off mute. We have a ton of people in here. Here it is.
Brandon, is this the first webinar we've done in August?
Well, we did the school one yesterday.
Yeah. But as far
Every
as
every
webinar,
every month, guys, if you're not in the school group, join it. Every month, me and Andy will do a live Q&A. You want to tell the folks what we were talking about yesterday, Andy?
yeah, well, I mean, do you want to tell them about what you wind up doing as far as you had a
Let's
little
talk
promotion?
about the contest first, because that
Yeah,
was
the contest. Yeah.
yeah.
So I mean, I'll let you chime in, Brandon. I mean, you're the one that ran it, but basically, Brandon told everybody in the school group, he's like, hey, first person to get how many business cards?
10.
First person to get 10 business cards. And were there any other qualifications or qualifiers on there?
No, that was it. Well, or they had to follow up with the contacts too to show that it was a recent, a new
Right,
contact.
right. So basically go out, get business cards from these nonprofits, from these governmental organizations, just anybody that's out there, nurses, caseworkers, social workers, that's in the community that's trying to place people or at least is actively involved in it. First person to get 10 business cards gets a, Brandon, tell them.
It was just a one-on-one coaching session with me and Andy, and then we did that live for the school group. So it was something a little bit different, but I think it was for the folks that were on there. I think they got a ton of value.
They did. And so the lady, she was out of Hot Springs, Arkansas. Um, and yeah, I mean, it was, she ran with it and got it done real quickly, really easily. And yeah, she's building up her business. It's pretty impressive.
That's actually it's actually kind of what we're talking about today, right? So
Absolutely.
guys, for everyone on the call, thank you for joining. We have a ton of people on here. Drop your questions along the way in the chat. We got a couple coaches on the call that are happy to help. But the main point of the call is just going to be working with these nonprofits, governmental programs. They're kind of all intertwined. But
Mm-hmm.
we really just want to show you guys the need for this and kind of demystify it, I guess. A lot of people are nervous to do this type of stuff, but Kelly is who we talked to, and she was just walking proof. How pumped was she about it after she, actually got out the car and started talking to these
Yeah,
people?
super pumped. She was a little bit nervous, I think, like a lot of people, but guess what? I mean, we gave her the incentive. Hey, if you get this done, first person to get this done gets a free one-on-one coaching session with Brandon and I. And she took the bull by the horns and she did it.
Yeah, but we wanted everybody to get this win. It's almost what I call proof of concept. She
Mm-hmm.
got out there, she realized how much her service was needed. she in her words, do you remember how she explained the treatment that she got
Yeah,
in?
she said I went in there and what she found, she casted a wide net, just like we always tell everybody to do, but she went in there and she found out that there was a huge need for basically women's homes. And she went in there and she kind of mentioned it to a couple of these caseworkers, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, you are an angel." Those were her exact words. You are an angel.
Yeah, so just in the chat, I'm wondering how many of you participated in the contest? Who went out and knocked on doors? It's quiet. It's very quiet, okay? So that's why we wanted to do this meeting, guys. So we're going to
Our
we're gonna
job
get,
is to light a little fire underneath your rear ends.
yeah, Tim, no, thanks for the motivation. Yeah, guys, if you're not in the school group, join it. And I'm gonna challenge you to actually, this is unplanned, but Andy, I think we should challenge everybody to do what we did last month for the contest.
We need to. We
Yeah.
need to.
So guys, I'm getting requests to record on your end. We are recording it, so I will send a link to the recording. Yeah, guys, join the school group. It's in Eric just posted it. It's only $10 a month. There's over 2,000 people in there. So it's not just the one-on-ones with me and Andy, but you have access to over 2,000 people helping each other, and it's only $10 a month. So if you're tight on funds, cancel Netflix. You you get a lot more
Correct.
a lot more value from it. So
Very good.
but yeah, to the point, I think a lot of people are scared. You know, that was the feedback. Some people were thinking that they were going to be treated as what do I call it? You know, not marketers, but uh solicitors, right? Well, that was one of the guys in the chat was scared that he was going to get treated like a solicitor. But Kelly found that when she went and talked to these people, she was literally those were her exact words. She was treated like an angel. She the first the first one she went to, she got 2 resident leads. The potential residents gave her the connection to the director. Then the next place she went to, she got like, I think she said 5 or 6 caseworkers, Andy, something like
Mhm. Yeah.
right? She went in there, gave her little pitch, and then she just ended up having an impromptu meeting with basically a room full of caseworkers that all were working with people that needed this type of housing. So we're going to give you guys some real life examples of actual referral sources that Andy or Eric, Jade, and Terrence have worked with. Okay, give you maybe an inside glimpse into some of the combos, and we'll give as much information as we can about these places. But the main point is we're going to show you guys how to find places like this in your area and kind of talk about, you know, how you can speak with them and eventually either get contracts with them or at least some steady referrals. That sound like a plan? Let me get a yes in the chat if you guys wanna learn about this stuff. And also, beautiful. Let me get a hell yes if you're gonna take some action after this.
Yeah. There we
Uh,
go.
let me get a hell yes.
Good. There we
Okay,
go.
beautiful.
Good.
So yeah, we
That's
really,
getting me excited. Good. The key is taking action.
yep, yeah, and so let me introduce the coaches. And we have Jade. Jade, you're on the call now, right?
Yep, I'm here. Hello, everybody.
So we'll start talking about your contact in a little bit, but I want you just give a quick introduction to all the coaches, and then brief background where you're from and kind of what your business is like, and then we'll get into the content. So Jade, I'll let you go first.
Okay. Hello, everybody. I'm Jade. I'm in the Dallas, Texas area. I actually did the Done For You deal. Oh, a couple of years ago. Brandon was my guide, my coach. I followed group home riches for a long time. I was never settled in an area, but once the Done For You came up, I said, this is now or never. And so I hit the ground running with Brandon and learned a lot through him. And we, operate in the Dallas, Texas area. And I was one of those people who was very nervous in the beginning. But I think as the contest, Brandon and Andy just said, you're treated like an angel, and there's more need out there than I ever realized until I started going. And so I'm excited to be here and share what I've learned thus far.
And how many properties are you got rocking and rolling now, Jade?
Right now, we have two, one that we own and one that we rent, one for males, one for females. And I agree with Andy in the sense that the demand for the females is so high, every organization we talk to. And so I'm now back. The summer has come to a close, so I'm hoping in these next few months to get another house open there for the women.
And you have a full-time job, full-time job, which is?
I am a mother of five, and we homeschool, and so that is my full-time job. And then this job with the flexibility with this, you can set your own schedule. That's where I love it. I can be very flexible, do what I want to do with my children, still homeschool, and then have my outlet of helping the community, working with people in the community.
I think you're to the point where we see a lot of people get where, 2 or 3 properties, it's really solid part-time income. And that kind of gives you the flexibility to, I don't think there's any stress about bills or anything like that. Am I correct?
I would concur with that.
All right. So Jade, again, over full-time mom, teacher / mom to 5 little ones. And then she's also she's not just a satisfied client, but she is one of our coaches as well. So Jade also amazing coach. So she does one-on-one coaching as well as one of the Done With You coaches. So we will get into housing forward and a little, more details on your story in a sec, Jade, but let's do an intro for the other coaches. Next up, Terrence, you are on the call, correct?
Yep, I'm here.
How are you doing today, brother?
Doing fantastic, man. What about you?
Excellent. So same thing, just kind of quick intro, where you're from, a little bit about yourself, your business, and then we'll go into more details in a sec here.
Absolutely. Again, my name is Terrence, originally from Fresno, California, but I'm currently in Tampa, Florida. That's where I operate my group homes. We're at 6 properties right now. I do the rental model. I love that model. Opening up number 7 next month. And we currently have 43 residents. So 43 lives we've been able to impact, helping them get off the streets. I always joke with Brandon and I say back in like after post-COVID, right? Everyone knows that time window. So like late 2020, 2021, I finished up school and I was broke as a joke, ready to choke. I did not have a lot of financial resources. I decided to invest in some one-on-one coaching with Group Home Riches. And then from there, just took off. And now, like you said, with Jade, don't really have any financial needs. I have the car that I want. Just moved into the place that I want to live in for now. So life is good, and we're blessing others too.
Beautiful. And again, you'll see a common theme here. The group home business frees these guys up to do what they want. And one of those things is helping you guys. So Eric, Jade, Terrence, they were all in your position, either got our coaching or at least, were on the fence and asking us and coming to us with help. And now they're rocking and rolling and helping you guys as well. Terrence, thank you. We'll come back to you in a sec. Next up, we have Eric.
Hey everyone. Hey Brandon. Hey Andy. Hey Jade. Hey Terrence. So my name is Eric. I'm from the San Francisco Bay Area. I own and operate 5 properties. We are about 50 tenants right now. I've been with Group Home Riches for about 6 years. Before the Done For You, before the coaching, I was just emailing the hell out of Brandon, asking him questions pretty much like every other day. I studied the gold course. I went through every YouTube maybe 4 or 5 times until I was able to develop my own systems. I have a W-2 job in tech. I have a 5-year-old going on 15, so I stay pretty busy, and I do the consulting. I've taken folks in my coaching clients from 0 to 2 to 3, 4 properties in the last year and a half. So I'm hoping to work with some of you.
Excellent. Yeah, and guys, full disclosure, not everyone does our one-on-one coaching. Not everyone does the done with you. We really have products for whatever your goals are, whatever your financial situation is. Eric is a perfect example of someone that uses our free email support. If we have somebody that's taking action, they're following up on what we tell them, we are happy to help all Gold Course students along the way. And now we have that school group now, which is that it's basically that on steroids. It's not just us, it's not just the coaches, but it's many of the people you hear on the podcast, along with, again, like I said, over 2,000 members helping each other. Terrence is one of our, he did our one-on-one coaching package, which is, a little bit more than the gold course, a lot less than the Done With You package. But again, it was just the budget that he was on, right? He didn't have the funds to purchase a property or anything like that, but he did have enough to do the one-on-one coaching to kind of get that shortcut. We actually incorporated something that I did with Terrence into the Done With You package. One of those calls, I hopped on a pitch with a landlord. Terrence, do you remember that call?
Absolutely.
It's one of my favorite calls because of how hard it was. It was, but we ended up getting the people that they wanted to work with him. But Terrence, what happened with those guys, Terrence?
I made the best decision for my business ever and decided not to work with them. They were a little hesitant after like the multiple calls. I pitched them, looped Brandon in, he pitched them, and then they finally were like, oh, they finally got it, and we're like, okay, yes, we want to work with you, but we're still like, all right, so what if this happens? What if that happens? And I just decided it was not the type of pressure or partnership I was looking for my first property going into it, because I was still figuring things out myself, and told them no, even though they offered me a property. And it was, again, I think the greatest decision I made so far in the business.
That's why it's one of my favorite calls, because you were able to at least kind of see how to pitch. And then I think it was within like a week or two, you just kind of took what we taught you and went and got another investor, right?
Yep.
Perfect. All right, beautiful. And then Jade, as she mentioned, Jade was one of our first Done With You clients. Jade, I want to start with you on this. We will, if we have time, we'll get into, talking with landlords and stuff like that. But the first task that we had you do, Terrence, do you remember, of the coaching program?
Go out and build a list of organizations in my area that I can reach out to.
So you had the people lined up first, and that helped when you were speaking with landlords, I'm guessing.
Absolutely. When you have some organizations that are ready to work with you, it helped with my confidence. But also, I had some landlords say, "Okay, well, this is your first property. Like, how do you know you're going to get it filled up?" And I was able to show them organizations that I've already spoken with and have people ready to send my way.
Beautiful. So let's get into that, guys. Again, drop your questions in the chat. There's a ton of people on there. We will try to do our best to answer all questions, but today we are going to focus on that first step. So Jade, I want to start with you, not just because we have Housing Forward pulled up, but you kind of touched on it. You can relate to that that hesitancy to pick up the phone or go in person and start talking to these people, correct?
Yes, definitely. Our minds get to us, and it was strapped on tight in my mind.
Yeah, I remember on our first call when I asked you, hey, how has the marketing been going for you? How many solid contacts do you have? How many referral sources? And what was your answer?
0.
And I said, why? How much marketing have you been doing?
I did nothing at that moment.
And I said,
Prior to that moment.
yeah. And I probably asked you, or I told you, I said, well, hey, you've been a Gold Course member now for, I know you weren't focused on it, but you were following us at least semi-passively for a couple years, correct?
Oh, yeah. Oh, it was longer than that, Brandon.
How long was it?
I think you said I got it before you were even part of Group Home Riches.
Right.
So I followed it probably when Andy first started it, and it wasn't the timing, I guess, right?
Yeah, well, it was that, and also it was something that was on the back burner. But even when you made that decision, like, all right, I want to do this, there was like, what were some of your fears about reaching out to places like Housing Forward?
Oh, I would say for me, just not knowing what to say, right? And then what was the reception gonna be? How was the conversation gonna go? And I guess the lack of awareness of how much need was truly out there.
We all get those spam calls, right? Like people call us out of the blue. You pick up on accident. You thought it was someone, and they're trying to sell you something, right?
Mhm.
So we had someone on the school call yesterday. He said that he was nervous because he thought he was going to be treated like a solicitor,
Mhm.
right? So was there anything like that going on? Like you were afraid, like, oh, they're gonna hang up on you, or they're gonna be mean to you, or anything like that?
Definitely. And then just not being confident enough to give the responses, right? A necessary response. So yes,
Beautiful.
that's why I had you then, Brandon.
And Housing Forward was one of those. I know we did a meeting with them. It might have been the first one. Do you remember if was it the first meeting that we had?
No, it was not the first one. It was actually later on. I believe you and Andy connected with them first. And
Right.
then you were able to pass them on to me, and then I was able to connect and have the one-on-one call with the, I'm not sure if she was the director or who, one of the top individuals there.
Yeah, and we'll kind of go through this, guys. If you're in the Dallas area, feel free to reach out to these folks. Don't say you're with Group Home Riches or anything like that. They don't know us by that. But we'll you will get a warm response. This is a great one to cover today, because now what is the application process like with these guys, Jade? Do you apply and then they fill up your property, or what's that like?
No, you create the phone conversations, the email conversations, and you create the connections with the individuals.
Bingo. Yeah, so there's no like magic application with these guys. I'm going to kind of show you how the sausage is made. Do you want to give them like just you don't have to say it word for word, but what's the general pitch that we say to places like this via email? What does Medell send to these guys when she finds one?
That we're a newer real estate company in the area, and we wanted to focus on affordable living rather than a traditional landlord. And we're hoping to speak with individuals, caseworkers who serve the demographics who need this type of housing. That's a short synopsis of it.
That's pretty much it. That's basically it, word for word. Hey, we're a new real estate company. We plan on opening a couple properties over the next year. we see that you have a, I think theirs is just straight up just says rapid rehousing. Hey, we see you have a flex fund program, or oh, hey, we saw that you have a landlord engagement and we're just reaching out to talk about that more. Andy, we still have you, right?
Yep, I'm here.
So me and you have actually spoken with Marsha and her director.
Yes.
What was that call like with them?
Look, I mean, these people are very, very, very grateful because there's nobody else out there doing this. As I was saying yesterday, I think if you just want to understand very basic business fundamentals, I think you look at supply and demand. There is so much demand for this type of housing, and there is so little supply. Doesn't matter what city that you're in, whether it's Dallas, Houston, Los Angeles. I mean, California is an absolute mess. There is no supply of this type of housing. And in fact, it's even worse because, I mean, Eric could probably comment on this better than me. Out in California, they're spending, like, I'm not joking, $900,000 a unit to build this type of housing. To house like one person, $900,000. That doesn't include any of the wraparound services or anything else. So there's no supply of this type of housing, and there's a ton of demand. And that's why these caseworkers are really grateful when you call.
Now, this is this is a larger organization. So we've done a little bit of homework on these guys, as well as got a lot of information from them, which is really what those calls are about. You do not have the approach like, hey, I'm starting a group home. Where do I apply? Like, how do I get it? Can you send me clients? It's very informational. Hey, I'm a future landlord. I do plan on offering affordable housing. Please tell me about your programs and what you guys do. And then from there, we've me, Andy, Jade, we've all spoken with Marsha. How do the calls go after we kind of do that intro?
They're very excited and just wanting to learn more. We learn more about them, and the excitement's there. And it's a new referral that they can pass on to their caseworkers.
It's usually about 10 to 15 minutes, basically with them pitching us on this type of stuff. Now, this is a great one to kind of bring up because just full disclosure, Jade, what is their kind of main goal when we're speaking with them as a landlord? What do they want out of us?
What do they want out of us? To
Yep.
provide, well, initially they want single units
Bingo.
for their people. And there's a huge need for that.
There is. Andy, we talked about this. We were a little bit tell them what we said on school the other day. What do they want? In a perfect world, what
Look, in a perfect world, they want the Taj Mahal, right? They want a 5-star Ritz-Carlton, actually, sorry, Four Seasons hotel, with, you know, butler service, caviar, the best alcohol you can buy, even though these people should not be drinking alcohol. They want what none of us can afford. That's what they want. They want to have a 10,000 square foot home for these people. And it's unrealistic. Now, granted, guys, I'm being hyperbolic, but they want what's not out there. And that's the reality. And give them a little credit for, you know, for asking for the moon, right? Or asking for the stars and landing on the moon. But that's not out there. That's never going to be out there. It's not going to happen. So we give them the second best alternative. That's, by the way, significantly better than living in a public storage shed or living in your car.
Yeah, so they want all that, and they want you to make it affordable as well.
Oh yeah, they want all that, and they want it for $500 a month.
So when we talk about that and they talk about the voucher program and what they need in order to qualify for these types of vouchers, Jade, do we hang up the phone on Marcia and say, well, hey, no, we're going to do shared housing. That's not going to work. You know, we want to get $500 per bed, $600 per bed.
No,
Good
you
luck.
can continue the conversation. You recognize the role that she plays and what the role she plays. And you understand that she is connected to other organizations. She's connected to other caseworkers. And so you continue that conversation in that realm.
I
She may
want
not be the direct referral to send you individuals, but she's the direct referral to the next caseworker, the next organization.
bingo. So I wanted to start with this one because this is the worst, quote unquote, worst case scenario, right? You're speaking with a large organization, they get a ton of money, and their main goal is, like Andy said, great, you know, build them a brand new unit. It's only a single unit. We don't do shared housing. And also, you need to make it affordable. We're not going to do that, but we still keep the relationship going. So, what are some of the questions that we can ask to continue the conversation, and then also kind of ease them into the fact that, hey, our first couple properties are going to be shared housing? What are some of the questions that you can ask Marcia on that call, Jade?
I guess I would kind of let them know straight up on that. Like, okay, what you just said, the first couple of houses are shared housing. We're new to this still, and that's the easiest way that we can get into this environment. And then also just ask, who do you know? Who are you connected with? Do you have an organization who does work directly one-on-one with the individuals in the sober situation or on a reentry situation? Just ask those simple questions. Keep the conversation going.
Bingo. Just the conversation. What I like to do is ask them, well, hey, how many people are on your wait list? I think that was the call. Me and Andy had that convo with them.
Yes.
Do you remember how many people were on their wait list?
What was the number? It was just an astronomical, ungodly amount of people. What was it?
It was over 1,000.
Yeah, I
Might
was
have been
thinking
like
it was,
2 or 3.
I was thinking it was like, 4 or 5 times that amount. But
Yeah, it was just such a ridiculous number that I don't even remember it. It was just
right. And so when you ask these questions, I want to comment real quick.
yes.
When you ask these questions, you're allowing these caseworkers and social workers to understand how ludicrous it is for them to be asking for something that's non-existent. So that's kind of the first thing. Number two, I want you guys to listen to what Jade says and also how she says it. She's very matter of fact. She's very frank. Now, everybody's got their own unique personality, but my personality type probably aligns more with Jade's. And so I don't sugarcoat anything around these caseworkers. Like, I'm very matter of fact with them. Now, most of these caseworkers, if they've been there more than 3 or 4 weeks, they're pretty matter of fact as well. They realize, okay, like it is what it is. I need to help these people. What's my best option for helping them? Some of the newbies that have just started, a lot of them have got, kind of visions of grandeur, if you will. But the people that have been there for a while, they get it. And I think the more matter of fact you are with them, and the more you just ask them kind of open-ended questions, the more eventually they come to the realization, like, okay, this person truly is like an angel and they're going to help out. What can I do to get my people housed with them?
Right. Bingo. So even though we're not going to qualify for these vouchers, unless you get into, multifamily, then I think it totally works if you want to work with places like this. But we still keep the conversation. We still keep the contact. We're still going to let them know when we do have a property, right? So, Jade, you've personally worked with Housing Forward. Approximately how many residents have they sent you, either directly or indirectly?
Through Housing Forward themselves, nobody directly did, right? Because they allowed me to have the next organization, the next caseworkers. Brandon, I don't have an exact number for you. I'm sorry,
Okay.
but
it's been a couple, and when you do have an opening, they're gonna be on your email blast,
definitely.
or they're still getting
Yeah.
the marketing material. Let's kind of
Yes, and
show
I think
that.
that's the key part too, right? Is like you continue giving them updates. You continue, and that's what we had to do initially with Marsha too, right? When a bed's open, I would just send her that email. Hey, we have a bed opening. Do you know of anybody? Or however that was worded. And then over time, after those emails came in from her or from me to her, and then that's when she connected me with, it was, I think 90 some caseworkers, right? And so
Watch this, guys. So
Can Jade, do you mind? I don't mean to be interrupting, but can you repeat that one more time just so everybody that is on the call can hear that? How many caseworkers?
it was 97. So Brandon has
Guys,
it
I
up right
really
now.
want to make sure everybody hears that. Jade
So-
got connected with 97 caseworkers.
and you guys can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Blow it up a little bit more, Brandon, if you can.
Well, I'm gonna let me blow it up just so you guys can see this, and then I'm gonna zoom out just to kind of protect the identities and
Cool.
stuff. But you can see the Housing Forward logo here, and then this is exactly what Jade said. A contact to, again, how many, Jade?
It was 97. And so that's the key part that I would want to stress is like Marsha's up there on top of Housing Forward. I don't know what, maybe a director, I'm not exactly sure. So she was never going to be that direct referral, but she has the connections to everybody else. And like, boom, she handed it to me, right? And then my job is to connect with everybody else. And so it can be discouraging, right? When you talk to these first initial people and you're like, well, that's not going to help me. It does. It does. It's a relationship.
It's a relationship, and this is a relationship business. Every business is a relationship business in some form or fashion, but this one is huge. Guys, if you want to be in business, you need to kind of be in this community and be kind of networking. Andy, how would you say it was about like the first year or two where you were really kind of pounding the pavement and doing the networking and learning who's who and getting the word of mouth out there?
Yeah, that's a great question. I actually don't think it even took a year. I think the one thing that I've always been, decent at is marketing and sales. Obviously, you guys probably can't hear it in my voice anymore because I don't really sell much at all at this point. But you got to be a good marketer. And so I think what I would always do is I would send out faxes because I mean, again, this goes back like 25 years, right? So I was sending out faxes, I was sending out email blasts. And then when the phone calls would come in, I'd have these phone calls and conversations with these caseworkers and nurses and other folks, but I would constantly ask them for referrals. Like that was the main thing that I was trying to focus on is building up my list, my lead list, so that I could email all these folks. So I was always asking them for referrals. And, if I got 3, 4, 5 referrals out of them to add to my database, the next thing you know, it's going to be the 80-20 rule or probably more like the 90-10 rule. Like you get a couple hundred people on your list, it only takes 2 or 3 contacts to start filling up a house. So that's my long-winded way of telling you, Brandon, it probably only took about 12 to 15 months to really get going.
Yeah, and because once you started meeting people like that, the word of mouth got out, right? Like
It gets out fast, yeah.
how much competition did you have?
There's no competition. There's nobody doing this. And that's why these people are so grateful when you come over there and you start talking to them, because nobody's coming to them, nobody's talking to them, and there's nobody else out there providing safe, affordable, clean housing for this demographic.
Yeah, and bear with me, guys. All righty, bear with me. All right, we are back. So you guys can see my screen again, right?
Yep.
All right, cool. Yeah, and this is what it's all about. So we didn't hang up the phone, right? Jade literally just got, you heard what Andy said, you could get 100 contacts and that's the beginning of your business. Boom, we got it from Marsha at Housing Forward. So a little bit kind of how the sausage is made, guys. This is one program. You heard Andy talk about the amount of money that's in California. How much did you say they're spending $900,000 just per unit, Andy?
I threw that number out there. Eric may know it better, but let me just look it up. California.
I was reading or watched some video the other day, and it was $1 million per unit
Yeah.
that I saw.
Yeah, Jade, you're spot on. Yep. Despite California spending 24 billion on it since 2019, they're spending over $1 million per homeless housing unit. Yeah. I mean,
So
this is incredible. And yet you guys can go out there and you can make a dent in your community for literally $1,500 if you follow, our strategies. You don't need to own the property.
yeah, you could go that route. You could do the networking to kind of get those contracts and start a construction company, or you can start talking to these people and just get a couple referrals. That's really all you need. I remember, I don't think it was with you, Jade, but it was with one of the first done for you clients when I was doing the coaching. And we did this, we went through the pitch. They realized like, hey, we're really going to be focusing on shared housing. They really wanted the Taj Mahal, affordable though, in order for us to do vouchers. By the end of it, after, they had like 1,000 people on their waiting list. Well, hey, what are you doing with those people? Hey, maybe, all right, it won't work with the vouchers, but when we open up, can you at least like share our information with some of the people on the waiting list? This woman said, yeah, maybe, but it'd honestly only work for 10 to 15 people per month. Andy, what do 10 to 15 new people per month mean to you?
Riches. That's what it means to me. And not even just financial, but you're helping out an additional 10 to 15 people per month. That means you're filling up an additional 1 to 2 homes every month. That's 12 homes in a year at an average net profit bare minimum of like $2,200 a month. So, how many people, want to get 10 homes up and going at a couple $1,000 a month? To me, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, and to them, it's just small pennies.
Yep.
Like, oh, whatever, I'm not getting the Taj Mahal, but I'll hook these people up because I know they're out sleeping in their cars. So why don't I throw Jade a couple people per month? And this is just one program, just one, guys, out of many. It's 2.8 billion. I don't know if Housing Forward participates in this. They might under a different name. But this is just an example of like the government funds that we're always talking about. So they're going to go to these are all nonprofits in Texas. Andy, we were on the call. So we talked with Marsha first. Then me and you got on the call with her and Lewis, who's the director.
Yep.
Okay. And we just told him straight up, hey, look, this is what we do. We do operate in Texas, but we're working with a bunch of clients that do this. Can we send you guys emails or the contacts when we have a new done for you client in Dallas? And they were pumped, right?
Mm-hmm.
But do you remember what their funding was per year?
Brandon, I don't.
It was over, I want to say like 17 million per
Yeah,
year.
I was thinking it was in the 20 range, but
Yeah.
the point is we're talking big, big, big money. They
So,
have $20 million that they have to spend.
and then that's going to go to all of these people, right? So they were the top of the food chain. Maybe they get some of those funds. I know that Marsha said that they are in charge of dispersing funds to other like smaller nonprofits. You really don't need to know the exact details, guys. It's just about that relationship. And you can see it here. We have those contacts at Housing Forward, and Jade has 90 caseworkers just from that one call. Terrence, you're there, right?
Yeah, I'm still here.
You're a little short on time, correct? You got a hard stop?
No, I can run over a little bit. I had a call get canceled.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, guys, that's one example. So Jade, do you have any we're not gonna wrap up, but do you have any like you know, any words before we move on for the people out there?
Oh, mine would just be that it's the relationship. Just keep the conversation going, whether you think it's fruitful or not. You don't know at the beginning, but just keep it going.
Beautiful. All right. Terrence.
Yes, sir.
So again, you're in Florida. Was it six properties you said?
Yep, 6 going on 7.
How many total contacts do you have in your marketing system, do you think?
Oh man. It's a tough question. I
Yes.
probably crossed the 1,000 by now.
Beautiful. And this is great. I tried to ask you like, hey, you thought this is a great referral source for you. You didn't even remember like how you got the first lead, if they called you, if they emailed you or anything like that, right?
I did not know. And if you look at the website too, it doesn't even look like somebody, like a lot of people would probably say, oh, they're not going to be able to send people to me or refer residents over to us.
Yep, exactly. So again, a reason why I wanted to talk about these guys for that exact reason. This doesn't really like, if you look at Housing Forward, it's very clear what they do, right? Housing Forward, solving homelessness. They have a landlord engagement thing right on their website. If you look at Grace Point, I would just like real quickly, I would just think this was like a hospital or something like that, right? So, in your words, what do these guys do? What is this company all about?
Man, they're huge, a huge organization in Tampa, Florida. They have hospitals, they have apartment buildings, they have case managers, they have physicians. So they're just a really good resource for the homeless demographic. They also work with individuals who suffer from mental health issues. And they have so many different departments inside of their organization to where I constantly get introduced to new case managers who I don't even know yet because they're in a completely different department.
Right. So I'm guessing what we'll do with the Done For You program is we'll have Medell and Amy. They're gonna go through a city and they're gonna build contacts like this. They're gonna gather everything that's clearly a referral source like Housing Forward, but we'll also go look for other nonprofits, health service companies, etc. So we will have in each city, what would you say, Terrence? What do you think about 1,000 contacts that we're getting for each client?
Yep, that's typically where we start with at least.
And I'm guessing since you don't remember like the first meeting or anything like that, I'm guessing that these guys were probably just on your email marketing system and it was just like what you thought was just a random lead.
Yeah, exactly. I think they got a mass email from us, and then I remember their housing director came out for a tour of our place. So I must have spoken to them on the phone because I can't find it in any email threads. They came out for a tour, and where I think a lot of people maybe mess up is when someone comes out for a tour, they're so focused on selling the property and not doing what Jade mentioned earlier, which is building the relationship. So when they were out for the tour, I asked more questions about Grace Point and what they were doing than I did answer questions about the property. Because with the property, it's kind of clear. Everyone knows why we're here. We're here to help people. This is the house that we have available. But when I had that conversation with the different departments they had, that's when I realized how good of an opportunity it would be to work with them and build a strong relationship that's been going on for years now.
If you had to estimate how many people have they sent you, is it like one or two, or have you got, or is this a constant referral source?
Constant referral source. I think I'm housing right now 7 or 8 individuals from them.
Beautiful. And then I'm gonna pull up. It's cool if I pull up those emails, right?
Yeah. I blocked out some of the like the personal things just so security reasons, but
Perfect. Well, just to get kind of to that point, before I show the emails, was there an application that you had to do in order to do business with them or anything like that?
nope, no application. With this organization, I didn't even do an MOU. They just have a need. They're getting hundreds of calls a day of people in need of housing. And I mentioned earlier, they have housing opportunities, right? They have that, what did Andy say? Ritz-Carlton type vibe of someone can go and get their own 1 bedroom, 1 bath apartment unit, but there's not enough for everybody. So what do? Is they have a list of referral partners that they reach out to when someone reaches out to them and they're full, and they point them my way.
So out of all the people that they work with, they're probably sending you it's a very, very, very small percentage
Absolutely,
of
yeah.
of their clients, right? So just to reiterate, guys, we talked about, the Taj Mahal and the brand new apartments and the $1 million places in California, right? This place, Grace Point, they provide that housing. They probably get a whole bunch of government funding to do so as well,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
They've gone through that process, but it's not going to work for every client, right? And when that happens, they're going to send emails like this to Terrence. That's it. There's no complicated contract. There's no complicated application process. Did they, some places do have, requirements for the property. Did they have anything like that, Terrence?
No, the tour, that's what I thought when they first did the tour, but literally just a walkthrough. I didn't have to change anything or make any adjustments. They didn't look for the famous sprinkler system that a lot of people fear on the ALF side. It was just a regular property.
The famous sprinkler system. I love that.
Yeah, yeah, guys. So if you want to become an assisted living facility, many states require a sprinkler system. Andy, how much do those famous sprinkler systems run?
They they are pretty expensive. I think we just dropped, we're not even done with it yet, but probably around 80,000 or so on a 24,000 square foot place. They're expensive, but like Terrence was saying, don't psych yourself out. I mean, there's so many of you guys that are worried about the smallest little thing that can come up. You just got to get out there and do it.
And those don't come up if you follow this method, right?
Correct.
So
Especially on single family homes. You don't have to have a
yeah,
fire suppression system to like rent out a property.
so Terrence, your properties are just up to basic code, just like any other landlord, right?
That's correct. Yep, single family properties.
Nothing special. Again, no $20,000 sprinkler system, nothing like that. Why don't you walk through, you don't have to do exacts, but just in general, like what's the situation with a lead like this? Like why would they send it to you instead of sending to their places?
Well, a lot of times I think their places are full, like I mentioned earlier. But I think they do likely have the opportunity to send a lead to me or maybe another housing provider in the area. And I think it comes down to the relationships that you've built. Have you asked them about anything other than how many people can you send my way? Um, are you constantly reaching out to them and saying hello? Here's what we're doing. Here's the availability that we may have. These case managers, one, they're underpaid, in my opinion. There's a high turn rate, and they get tons of emails, not only from other people reaching out to them, internal emails, but also they're dealing with the actual homeless population who is reaching out to them with different needs, helping set up appointments. They need rides, places, etc. So you have to have built at least a decent relationship to where they know your organization's name or ideally your name. So when they do have a client that they can't serve in their own place, they think of you and just shoot you an email like the ones Brandon are showing.
How often do you send out like the mass email, Terrence?
At the beginning, I was doing it frequently. Now I'm doing it maybe like once a month, to where I'll send out a email to our list, just letting them know we're still around. If we have availability, I'll share that as well. But most of the time, it's just a quick update, just saying hello.
Yep. And guys, with our, again, this is this stuff that, you can be doing, you're going to want to be doing eventually. Don't get bogged down by it now. I want you guys to bare minimum, just go knock at a place or pick up the phone and have a conversation with them. But eventually you do want to have systems in place like that. With the Done With You program, it's about 30 days into the program. Once you've kind of gotten your feet wet a little bit, you've had a couple meetings, you're confident, you're going to look for those properties now. That's when we send our, we have a 10 email chain that we're going to send once a week to about 1,000 contacts. So these are the types of leads you'll get from that, what we call maybe indirect referral sources, right? So like a health service company or even another housing provider, right? And you just keep in touch with them. You're constantly in their face. That way, when someone comes up like this and they can't help, oh, you know what? We went and met that Terrence guy, and he's constantly emailing us. You're fresh in their inbox, right? Who's gonna get the lead, right? So
Absolutely.
that's what it's all about. So thank you, man. We'll be coming back to you. Eric, we have
Hey.
you. So Eric, I wanted to talk about this because you actually work with, like, this is again directly through the government, right?
Yep, that's correct.
So
So go ahead.
no, you go ahead.
So the HDAP program is a voucher program that was introduced to me actually by a caseworker that I work with. One day she asked me if I took this voucher, and I didn't even know what this voucher was. So I had to Google it and look it up. But it's basically they provide rent and deposit for individuals that are applying for SSI or SSDI. So in the 6 months to a year that they're applying, this program will pay for the rent and deposit. And then once they are they receive their SSI, SSDI funding, then we'll switch it over to SSI for payment.
I wanna reiterate. So you didn't know anything about this voucher program.
I had no clue. I was like, hey,
How much?
tell me more.
Yeah. How much time did you spend researching it and reading through their requirements or whatever the application was online or whatever they had?
Not that long. What I did was they put me in touch with the agencies that supply this voucher. So that's what I started looking into, was making those relationships and talking to the people that actually um, disperse this voucher.
Yeah, so guys, if you were to go to this website, for one, it's a government website, so it's not extremely fancy, right? They have
Yeah, and also note
email.
that this term HDAP is, from what I see, it's in California, but in your city, in your state, in your county, it may be called something else, but probably does the same thing. So you just have to find out, what it's called in your area.
So were these guys like something like this, Eric? Were they on your email system, or how did you get introduced to the caseworker here?
So from that caseworker, they introduced me to an office that provides the vouchers. It's one office. So all the multiple organizations in the county go through one office. So this is kind of like an advanced technique, right? Like, you don't chase the organization, you chase the voucher.
Break that down.
So instead of, going after organizations to try and find out what voucher, you find the voucher, and then those will lead you to the organizations that will supply you with a tenant that's already applied to this voucher.
Gotcha. So is this something that, like, would you recommend somebody here like actually going to the website and applying, or building the relationship with caseworkers in their area first and then waiting for programs like this to come to them?
So I do it both ways. When I do my intakes, I ask what their source of income is. And when they say they're applying for SSI, boom, I already know I can apply them. I can make my own client, right? I can make my own source of payment for them and apply them to HDAP. So if they don't have any source of income, they're applying for SSI, SSDI, I'll try to get them on HDAP.
Bingo. And that's going to come from the contacts, guys. So through this networking, right? He learns about the voucher programs. He knows about a service that's available to somebody that comes to them. He knows what's available more than they do. And you learn that it wasn't like you sat behind the computer reading about this stuff all day long, correct, Eric?
Correct.
It was just someone on your list. They're like, hey, are you familiar with this program? Oh no, let me connect you to them. So
Yeah.
Like back when you were getting this lead, I don't think you go too super hard on the marketing right now, right?
In the beginning, I did. That was the hardest part. That
Mhm.
I tell all my students that um, that is the hardest part, right? Reaching out to the organizations, developing contacts, creating those relationships, the in-person stuff, the flyers. Now I don't do any of that. Like, it's maybe like once in a while. Merry Christmas. By the way, I have 2 rooms available.
Would
Those
you
type of things.
would you agree with Andy that maybe it took about a year of doing that really hard, and then eventually people just knew you?
Yeah, pretty much. And now it's come to the point where, like, I'm kicking people out. Those caseworkers of that person are telling other caseworkers, hey, Eric's gonna have 3 rooms available in like 2 weeks. So it's like I'm not even saying anything, right? But those caseworkers already know that I have uh, rooms available already, and I didn't even put that out there. That room's not even clean yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and no, so zero outbound marketing basically. It's just constant, like word of mouth at this point.
Word of mouth.
And then this is really cool. You wanted to talk about the intake process kind of. So this is an example. What do we have here? This is an example of just a
So
lead, right?
this is something that I made for my coaching clients, and done for you or done with you clients. It's in ChatGPT. It basically trains them on how to speak with the organization, what kind of questions they'll ask. So I'm kind of testing that out with 2 clients right now. Raphael, check your Discord, um, so that they can kind of play, like, role play with them. I do the role play during all of our intro calls with Done for You and coaching clients. So I want to get them used to speaking with these organizations, what questions to ask.
This is beautiful.
That's
So
awesome.
that'll kind of segue into the next portion, I guess. So let's talk about how to find these places, what you're doing for marketing, and then bingo, like what to actually say. So guys, if you go to, hopefully you guys are in the gold course. If you're not in the gold course, guys, I'm gonna drop a link for you. Get the gold course. It's, again, you guys do not have to do the Done With You program. You can totally do all of this stuff on your own, exactly like Eric did. Again, Eric, what coaching service did you sign up for with us?
Brandon's email.
Yep, bingo. Guys, we do free, on unlimited. Am I correct, Eric? Unlimited online support.
Yeah, I'm surprised you replied to every single email that I sent you.
Eric.
I'm like, this guy has no life.
Oh, hey, I enjoy it. I enjoy it. But hey, I'll be honest with you, Eric. Here's why. Not all the gold course members are actually taking action on it. So if I see someone that's actually following up, taking action, being proactive, it wasn't like you weren't like asking me like questions about licensing, right? I could tell you were having action and you had real life experiences. So, with great questions comes great answers. So yeah, guys, I dropped a link to the gold course. Sign up for that if you're not in it. If you go to the beginner's guide, it will teach you how to find these places. Okay. Build in your marketing list, a whole bunch of keywords, rapid rehousing, home health services, social service organizations. Andy, off the top of your head, what are some buzzwords and keywords that we can use to build the list?
Rapid rehousing, affordable housing, group homes. You're talking from an SEO standpoint?
Well, yes, but just the basics, like just to find these places in their area to kind of start out.
Oh yeah, to track them down. Yeah, disability I think is good. Yeah, disability housing. Go through all the various behavioral health stuff. So anything behavioral health oriented, mental health, mental illness, schizophrenia, bipolar, anxiety, depression. You just go down the list. Anything you can think of, you're putting it in there because that's how you're going to track down these people.
Yeah.
Hey, Brandon, can I take us through an example of that?
I'm getting there. I
Okay.
want to show them live how to find these places, and then I want to hear kind of the role play that you do with the Done With You clients, if that's cool.
Okay. Yeah.
So guys, there's a bunch of shortcuts here in the gold course that will show you exactly what our virtual assistants do for the Done For You clients. I'll do one live, okay? But in any major city, you're gonna have around 1,000. You'll have about 1,000 contacts, okay? Somebody drop a city that you're in, and I will do this live for you. First one that pops up. I'm not gonna do Idaho. Sorry. We could find them, but I want it to be quick. I think Erie, Pennsylvania was the first one. And again, this isn't I wanted to do a major metropolitan area, guys, just so I could do this quickly. I did not recognize the Idaho place, but rapid rehousing, Erie, Pennsylvania. Perfect. So there we go. If you're in Erie, Pennsylvania, you have time today, this place up, give them a call. You're probably going to want to speak with Joe and Michelle, who are the housing specialists. The pitch that we did, Jade said it earlier, Eric, what would you say maybe just on that first call to them?
I basically introduced myself, see what their needs were in terms of housing. I want to know what type of demographics they serve, what type of funding they provide, if any. Um, you know, what if I don't have a property yet, I'm going to want to build my wait list around where their clients want to live. So I'll ask them for specific like zip codes or counties. I'll ask if they serve the whole county, the city, the state. Just a bunch of questions. Keep the conversation going.
Yep, write this stuff down, guys. So think of some questions that you can ask them to keep the conversation going. Most of the times you don't really have to do that, right? Usually they're pretty pumped to speak with you and they're gonna just kind of talk about what they do. That's how most of the calls go typically, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
pretty much.
the intro call, again, we do this, we do it via email just in mass. And then you're gonna kind of want to say something like this on the intro call. But this is the done with you pitch. Hey, we're a new real estate company. We plan on opening a couple properties over the next year, 5 to 6. Again, this is whatever your guys' goals are, you insert that into there. Instead of going the traditional route, just being a typical landlord, we recognize that the homelessness problem is a massive problem in Erie, Pennsylvania, and we want to focus on affordable housing. We see that you have a rapid rehousing program, and we're just calling/emailing to get more information about that. From there, you just go into what Eric just talked about. You want to get more information from them. So, Eric, like that role play? What is some of the stuff that you do with the done with you clients?
So the role play, I'll basically pretend to be a caseworker, asking to, you know, if asking about their home and their property. I'll want the client or the student to explain, um, what they're doing, what their business is, and just go from there.
One of
I'll throw out, depending on who it is. I'd like to put them on the spot and just throw out like different scenarios. Right?
beautiful.
Like, hey, I have a 72-year-old male, needs help with meds. He's non-ambulatory. He uses a cane from time to time. He has no access to food or transportation. And I'll kind of see how they answer it, that
That's
question.
a great question. I wanna open that up to the chat. Who knows how to answer that? So again, we have someone who's 70, they're going to need help with meds. They might need some nursing. Well, how do you guys handle that? Bingo. Bingo. Love it. Matt and Alicia, great. So we got a couple people that have been studying the gold course. Eric, I'll let you, what's the answer to that?
So I like to ask a bunch of questions also, right? For example, if someone says they're in a wheelchair, I ask, do they need it the whole time? Or sometimes they'll say, oh, he just needs it to get from the curb to the front door. And he has, medical transport that helps him with that. Okay, cool. So can he navigate a step up or a step down within the home? Even though I don't have steps in the house, I like to ask if they can do that. Like, can they transfer? Can they, get out of the bed, walk around, if they don't have any issues with that. Um, if they're med compliant, I ask if they can take any prescribed medications on their own unassisted. I don't ask what meds they are, but I want to know if they can do that on their own. What else? I ask them if they have food, access to food and transportation. So I want to know if they have EBT, food stamps, if they can go to the grocery, cook meals on their own. If not, how are they going to, get those things? Because when I intake somebody, I want to make sure they have all those things. Because guess what? If they don't, where are they going to get that food from? They're going to steal it, right? Or they're going to take it from like other tenants. So I want to make sure, or they have access to everything that they need.
Beautiful. So guys, again, I think the overall point that you'll see is that it's a relationship business. Eric's not just you guys were correct. The correct like technical answer is outsourcing. But you're building relationships, right? So you can see even on the intake process, Eric wants to get to know who his people are, what their needs are. What's the reasoning behind that, Eric? Why are you asking these people so many questions?
Because the better that you vet them, the better client you'll have, the more harmony you'll have in your home, right? You want to make sure that you intake somebody that would be a good fit for your home, and you want to be a good fit for them. So I
So
interview
important.
caseworkers just like I would a client. I want to make sure their stories line up. There are some caseworkers that I've found that try to just dump somebody on you. So, and they know damn well that they need help with certain things, right? Or they come into your home with no clothes, right? So I need to make sure that, hey, caseworker, what's your plan? You know, if they are able to say, okay, he's going to go to meetings, he does this, he gets this type of shot. On these days, I can arrange transportation for him on, you know, X, Y, and Z. When I hear that they have a solid plan, it makes me want to work with that caseworker, because I don't just take anybody.
Andy, I heard you wanting to jump in. I think you want to riff on that. Probably a couple things.
Yeah, just real quick. Look, guys, this is a business. Okay. So number one, it's a business. This is not a get rich quick scheme. We are showing you guys how to create a sustainable business that frankly is not going away. The demand is just going to grow. But if you're going to have a business, you got to run it correctly. And to kind of go on what Eric just mentioned, it is so critical and crucial to screen your clients. You have to know how to screen your clients, just like you have to know how to screen your caseworkers. So you can't just let in any old bum off the street. It's obviously you may want to help these people, but you got to make sure that it is going to be the right fit. Because if you get the wrong apple in a bunch, that one rotten apple is going to spoil the entire bag of apples. So you do not want that to happen. One wrong person in your property, one bad decision, boom, screw up the entire property. So yeah, I just wanted to echo Eric's point of how important that is.
I hope you guys have a pen and paper and you're jotting this stuff down, because Eric has given you guys multiple questions that you could ask, both on the caseworker side and the intake stuff. Andy, what are some like questions that if you're talking to, let's say you're talking to this place, UMA in Erie, Pennsylvania, the casework, like what are some of the questions you're going to ask them on that call after you do the intro?
Yeah, I mean, the first question I'm going to ask, tell me a little bit about the client. Look, do not be afraid. You got to be like what we were talking about with Jade earlier. Be frank with these people. Tell me about their money situation. Where is their money coming in from? Right? I think that for me, that's the single most important thing, because if they don't have a guaranteed source of funds and we don't have what I like to refer to as any community resource beds available, I can't take them. I'm not going to be able to take them right now. So that's, sorry, we don't have any community resource beds available. So first question, where's their funding coming in from? Where's their money coming in from? Is it SSI, SSDI, or is there additional source of funds? So that's that way I can screen that out. And then after that, you got to figure out what type of issues these individuals have. Like Eric said, do they have clothes? Do they not have clothes? What's their anxiety situation like? Are they taking their meds? Do they actively take their meds, or do we need to prompt them? Are we going to be med prompting? So just asking those types of questions, super duper duper important.
And someone asked if screening of clients is in the gold course. There's an actual intake call that Andy does with the actual potential tenant. So yes, in short, yes. And we'll go, guys. Again, ton of people on the call. I saw a ton of questions come in, so I'm going to go through. I'll probably have to cherry pick, but we will look for questions to answer this stuff. But Eric, you bring up a great point. I want to throw that question to Terrence and Jade as well. Jade, what are some of those initial questions that you ask, your caseworkers that you're speaking with? And then when you do get actual referrals, what are some of the questions that you ask?
I honestly, Eric and Andy, I think summed it up well. It's really just to understand the client's situation. How are they going to pay? Typically, it's that SSI or SSDI from what my experience has been. And then what needs do you have? So it's very basically echoing Eric and Andy.
I think that's a good summation of it. You want to find out what the needs are, right? And to see if it would be a good fit. Terrence, do you have any
Maybe Brendan, maybe one question would be like, have they lived in a shared living environment before? To me,
Bingo,
like having
Jade.
that.
I think
Go ahead.
that is super important because no matter what the answer is, yes or no, I always hit them with, hey, we have some very strict house rules.
Mhm.
No alcohol, no drugs, no exceptions. And then I go into like some other house rules, but that's a question, Jade, that I always ask. And no matter what the
Mhm.
answer is, I give them my house rules.
Terrence, is there anything different that you do? Any other questions or like a part of the process that you do that's a little different?
No, I mean pretty much similar. One thing I do like asking also is asking the case manager how long they've been working with that individual. Because I found they will, roll off a list of, oh yeah, no, this person's great at their previous location, they're great with their medication management. And then I'll ask, how long have you been working with this client? And they can say, oh, this week. They just got thrown on my assignment list, right? So they're just reading a report. So that lets me know I need to spend more time with the actual individual themselves, on qualifying them and confirming what the case manager already told me.
I agree with Eric. What I would do with the done for you clients when I was doing the coaching, and we would get direct leads from people that were actually living in the home. I would throw it out like, hey, you could pick. We have a tenant agreement in the gold course, by the way. When you hear us talk about the licensee agreement, that's the actual agreement that we have, between the landlord and the tenant. It's written in complete legalese, right? But we do have it's basically your house rules and legalese. So to kind of echo what Eric was getting into, I like to pick some of them out. So, hey, quiet hours are at 10 o'clock. There's no alcohol and there's no guests allowed. And then I would like to kind of see what their reaction was. Eric, what do you do when you get pushback from a tenant on that, on the intake process?
Um, it depends. So if it's like, oh, hey, do you have a curfew? No, I don't. Or if it's alcohol and drug things, I don't take them.
Bingo. You're
Yeah.
filtering, right? So if someone says, well, okay, that's cool, but I like to drink on the weekends. Not the right fit, right?
Yeah, not the right fit.
Another thing that comes up is Andy brings up a great point, right? We want to get paid. Obviously, we all want to help the community, but at the end of the day, it's not a charity, right? You do want to be compensated. So one of the things that's in the tenant agreement, and you guys are welcome to tweak this and create your, everybody's policy can be different, but we like to get a guaranteed payment. So if the people are on SSI, it'll say in here, okay, you're required to go through an approved representative payee. Eric, Terrence, Jade, do you guys stick to that? Do you guys stick to that for everybody, or is it kind of case by case? Who sticks
It's
to? There's
it's case by case for me. Most of them go through a rep payee, but I do have a couple of individuals who do self pay.
So let's say you have someone that they don't have sufficient income, they don't have a good history of paying their bills on time. you do want to require them to go through an approved third-party representative payee. What do you do if they don't want to do that?
And there, you tell them that it's not going to work. It's not a good
Bingo.
fit.
Right. So guys, the first step is to get these leads, and then obviously you want to filter so you can actually create a good environment for your house guests.
I think I learned that the hard way because, you know, my first home, I wanted to get it filled. So I was just taking basically anybody, right? And that kind of like bit me in the end,
Yep.
you know, so
I got a
now
comment on that when you're done.
you can't be afraid to say no or you're not a good fit. Like, I mean, it's your business.
Andy, I knew this would probably fire you up, but go ahead.
Yeah, so guys, learn from Eric because Eric is a very smart man, like all of our client coaching coaches are. I am the dumb one. So even to this day, I still, well, not as much so this day, but guys that are running stuff for me still make the same mistake, even though I'm telling them, hey, watch out. Let me give you firsthand examples. So Brandon's actually been to this place. It's like a 90 unit property. And when we first bought it, you know, we're under the gun. I've got debt on it, of course. And so I'm like, get this damn thing leased up. We got to get it leased up ASAP. So we get the thing leased up, and you know, sure as shit, the thing is quote unquote fully occupied. And the next thing you know, we've got, you know, a very high percentage of delinquent accounts, people not making payments. And the reason for that is going back to what Eric said, it only happened to him once. He made that mistake at the very beginning. He was trying to get the place leased up real quick. Guys, I'm telling you, I could give you two more examples of large properties where I've done that at. In fact, we just got done. Brandon actually helped me with this one. Brandon, it's the one that you and Harley found.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing, you know, we put a bunch of derelicts in there because we were trying to get the place leased up. And the next thing I know, I'm like, okay, well, why is the thing not making any money? Well, it's not making any money because we got people in there that aren't paying their bills, or they're destroying it. We have to evict them. And anyway, so it's, you know, try not to make that mistake yourself. Just learn from my lessons and learn from Eric's first lesson.
I think Andy, you're doing like the multifamily stuff, so it's tough to do this kind of strategy. But guys, this is why we recommend most people just based on their budget, their resources, and their risk tolerance. But Terrence, I'll throw this to you. What's the first step that we recommend people to take out there? Should they go out and purchase a property and rehab it and get it all furnished up?
Absolutely not. Start with the marketing.
Why?
Because it's a lot easier to fill up your home if you know who's going to move into it versus if you have a house, now you have additional payments that you got to stress over, and that stress is going to come out when you're talking to the nonprofit organizations.
Yep. The stress, the
Anxiety.
chasing that mortgage payment, right? You just took on a new house. You need to pay the landlord in 30 days or the bank. You're going to be much likely to make that mistake that Eric was talking about in the beginning, right? So Eric, I'll throw that back to you. You talked about how in the beginning you were just kind of trying to get paid. Walk us through like some situations where that happened.
Like private pay person, didn't do my due diligence in asking what their proof of income was. You know, at first, is that steady? Now I'm asking for, hey, I need a copy of your photo ID, your SSI or SSDI award letter. You know, how many like payments have you received? I need to see those. But usually I try to mitigate that with case management, right? Like most, I'm going to say like 95% of my tenants will have a case manager or tied to some sort of case management. So they can vouch for everything and provide any supporting documentation that I need.
Yeah, guys, the more marketing you do, the more, again, that's why I bring up risk tolerance. So everybody's different. So Eric, I think you were just gung ho. You were like Andy, you were gonna get the property and kind of figure it out as you go along. um, but Jade, Terrence, I'll throw it to Jade. How many referral sources would you say that we had before you felt confident to go start speaking with landlords?
Oh, I think a handful. So I think once you start them, you get the confidence and you understand that to me, then this mission is greater than me, right? So I had to like, okay, this isn't about me, it's about the individuals to house, right? And so you just get over that and you go talk to them. So I would say a handful.
Like 3 or 4?
Yeah.
I think that's about right. I think after like the third meeting, you were like, okay, this is gonna work. I think I know someone that does, real estate. I'm gonna go approach him. um, Terrence, what about you? What was the how many meetings or contracts? Like what was that like before you started, really being confident to go work with a landlord? How many
I feel
courses or
I
meetings?
felt after the first conversation, that's what changed my confidence. Because like a lot of people have already touched on, I thought it was going to be a tough sell. I was going to get hung up on, typical like seen as a solicitor, but the organization was excited and was asking when the property was going to be ready and wanted to come up to a tour. So after that, that was all the confidence I needed to go out and start feeling good about looking for a property.
I would
Brandon,
say, yeah, go
sorry,
ahead.
I do got to hop off though, but it was great chatting with everybody. Look forward to seeing everybody in the school group. So if you're not in there, sign up and let's connect.
Terrence, at the end, I'm gonna drop your email in case people want to work with you.
Okay, that'd be great.
All right. Thank you for hopping on, man.
No problem. See you guys.
See you,
Yeah,
Terrence.
Terrence.
Thanks, Terrence.
Yeah, so everybody's different, guys, but I would say that's pretty common with most of our clients. After a handful of meetings like this, maybe 3 or 4 on average, that's when it really clicks for people like, okay, this works. You don't have to have one of these, but sometimes these organizations will go into a contract with you. This is one that we actually got for, again, one of the first done for you clients that I worked with. And we just copied and pasted their stuff and put it in a document for you guys so you can tweak this, put your logo on it. Eric, Jade, have you guys ever gone into like an MOU like this?
No, mine's been verbal.
Yeah. That's
Um,
again, that's
yeah, I have
usually
something similar to the MOU, but I also have what's called like a RAV, like a rental authentication verification form.
uh-huh.
And they'll basically ask for my EIN and like business information, LLC information in there. And then they write up their own kind of MOU, like what I'm providing, how much it's going to be, that type of thing.
Andy, I'll throw this question to you. So we talk about MOUs. Eric does rental verifications. Jade has always been verbal. Do you recommend people kind of go through the gold course and know all this stuff word for word?
No,
No.
not
Okay.
at all. I mean, again, like you said earlier, you've got risk tolerance, you've got personality profiles, all this stuff. I have always been the sort of person that learns best when you just pick me up and throw me in the water. Like, hey, buddy, you got to learn how to swim. Like, that's how I learn. I learned nothing in school. I learned nothing in elementary school, nothing in middle school, nothing in high school. Um, I just knew I was like, all right, this is what I want to make money. So nope, nobody even teaches you how to make money, at least back in the day. Now you have the internet and webinars and stuff like that. But the gold course is awesome because we have so much stuff in there. But the single most important thing you guys can do is just get started. And rather than pretend to work, don't sit around and go spend the next month and a half reading through the gold course, because there is a ton of info in there. Just get started. And really, that's what we're here for today. If you're afraid to get started, you got to step back and realize you may need some tough love. And maybe you don't need necessarily tough love, but you need somebody to hold your hand to do it for you and do it with you. I mean, if you need us to do it with you, we're more than happy to do it. So again, I'm not like hardcore pitching you, but there are certain personality profiles that need assistance, right? And so if you think that you're one of those people, man, don't waste time reading through the gold course. Just get started.
Guys, my computer, I got a whole bunch of tabs open, so the computer is running a little bit slow. I want you guys to break out your calculator or do this in your head, okay? So, Andy, on average, what would you say each one of your properties nets?
$2,500 a month.
$2,500 a
Yeah,
month.
and some of them are going to be more, some of them are going to be a little bit less, but on average, that's what they're going to bring in.
How many did you do in your first year?
Honestly, I know you always ask me. I don't remember. I'd have to go back in and look, but I would presume 6 or 7, maybe.
Let's keep
And
it.
I look, guys, I may have told you before I only did 4, and I may have said another time I did 8. I don't remember. It's been such a long time, right?
Let's
I've
keep
been
going.
doing this for ages, so I don't remember.
Let's say you did 5. You got the operational manager after the first couple properties, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
How many?
Well, I think by the time I was on my second one, I knew that I needed to hire somebody. And then by the time I was on my third one, I think I'd found my guy.
Well, let's and like a full-time job. How many properties do your operational managers manage?
They can run, 10 very easily.
And do you think you could do that conservatively and with 2 years of work?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
So guys, we're at 2,500 times 10. That's 25,000. Andy, is that?
Brandon, are you trying to show this on a calculator? Because if you
No,
are,
I got to do it. It's not pulling up, so everyone's got to kind of do it on their
yeah, that's all right. Everybody get your pen and paper out and write it down.
So we're at 25,000. Is that per year or what is that?
No, God. I mean, look, we're talking about $2,500 a month per property. Bingo. Thank you, Christy. $2,500 a month per property, and you got 10 properties over the course. You can do it in a year. You really can.
And we have a bunch of examples like that,
Yeah,
guys.
but two years is like, okay, it's a relatively good moderate cadence. You can easily in 24 months that's one property every couple of months. It's totally doable.
All right, so this is a good idea. We'll use the chat since my calculator won't pull up. Chris, you got it right. $25,000 per month. What is that annualized, guys?
Who wants to do the math?
Bingo.
Cool.
300K. So that's a good example of what you could do if you were just put your head down and hustle in, again, conservatively 2 years. We have
and by the way, on
that I've done that in a year.
Yeah, and we never really talk about this, but we were talking about it yesterday with the lady that basically won the competition on our school kind of interview or Zoom call that we did yesterday. It was a one-on-one coaching session. When you do this, guys, you're not only building up a $300,000 income stream, but that's also an equity position in a business that you now own. You get 2 years tax returns, you can go turn around and you can sell that thing for 4 times earnings, easy, right? So it's worth $1.2 million. So if you're willing to work for 2 years, we're basically showing you how you can become a millionaire in 2 years, a legitimate millionaire.
Yeah.
The other quick thing is the lady that won it, she's from Arkansas. And as she said yesterday, she's like, look, I'm going to get like 4 of these houses up and going, right? Each one of these homes is going to bring me in $2,500, right? And you guys can do the math. It's easy math to figure out. That's $120,000 a year. Now, almost anywhere in the country outside of maybe New York, maybe Miami, maybe, some of the California cities, if you're making $120,000 a year working for yourself and you're not having to work 40 hours a week, you've just hit the lotto, right? That is a jackpot for the majority of people. For the majority of people. Now, I understand there's people in San Diego that say they need to make $400,000 a year, blah, blah, blah. But for the average individual in almost every single state in this country, if you can make $120,000 a year and you're not having to pump in 40 hours a week, 30 hours a week, even 20 hours a week, I mean, how many of you on this call would be happy to be making an extra $120,000 a year? Just put your hands up or say yes. I'm just curious to know. Because there's probably some people out there that are like, no, it's not enough. But hopefully there's a few people, we only have 4 or 5 people saying yes. Hopefully there's a few of you guys that are like, yeah, 120 G's, I'm all for it. You guys should be excited about this opportunity because there is no supply of these houses and there's a ton of demand and you have the ability to make a lot of money and impact a lot of lives. And if that's what you want to do, like, you got to light a fire and get going.
And guys,
sorry, I just went off on a tangent there. I apologize.
no, it's perfect. And remember, we were at 300K annualized, right? And Andy, we've spoken with a bunch of people that have done that in 1 year.
Yeah.
Patrick comes to mind, Orlando, but we were just using 5. All right. So we were at 300K and we had a great question in there. Hey, how much do we have to take out for expenses out of that number? I'm asking the chat. Let's see who can get it correct. So again, we were bingo. That's it. Guys, again, we were talking about the net. That was the net.
This is net income. Because remember, guys, you're probably going to be charging a bare bones minimum $600 a bed. $600 a bed. Bare minimum.
There is absolutely expenses. It's broken down in the gold course, guys. You can see Andy's actual P&Ls.
Hey, Christina, I got to interrupt real quick. On my podcast or on our podcast, we say no expenses. We have never said that. Never said that. No, this is a business. Every single business out there, even the most high margin businesses out there, have expenses.
Yeah, there's no expenses in that example, guys, because we were talking, we were just talking about the net profit. So that's the net of these things. So there's definitely expenses, but we already accounted for that when we were talking about the net profit, guys. So Andy, we were talking with Kelly. Do you remember how much she cash flowed on her rental properties?
Yeah. Guys, let's compare this to the business that I used to be in. And don't get me wrong, I still rent out properties. But the business that made me realize, hey, I got to get out of the rental business and into the group home business. And Kelly was in the exact same shoes. She's like, yeah, there'd be some months where I'd make $100, $200. And then 3 months later, like all of it would be wiped out. That is your average rental property. These rental properties don't make any money. They are for depreciation and capital gains only. Plain and simple.
We say that on average, they 10x the typical rental property.
Yeah.
Most landlords, if you go look at these real estate podcasts and you just look at the numbers that they say, a great rental is going to cash flow about $200 or $300 per month, which is why these landlords will want to work with you, by the way. But that's a whole other topic. So, guys, we gave kind of, these are real life examples of how much money these things can bring in. That's the possibility if you do want to go hard, if you do want to scale it. So for folks that are looking to get like 5 to 10 of these open in the next year, we want to work with you. Okay. That's what the Done For You program is all about. People that want to do that are going to do that, but they want to do it a little bit quicker with our help. Basically people that want to and can pay for a shortcut. So Here's a question to you guys. If we were to kind of do all that initial legwork that we were talking about, building the website, doing the SEO, doing the emails for you, having a coach there holding your hand for 6 months, doing the meetings for you, doing the pitches with the landlord, etc. If we were to do all that and you were to build an organization that netted you $300K per year, would it be worth splitting the first year's profit with us? Yes or no in the chat. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right. So guys, the Done For You program, we want you to make more than that. We want you to make millions per year. Okay. And we want you to keep all the profit, but we do spend, we literally spend thousands on each Done With You client. Okay. So it's going to be more than that. So if you want to learn more, hold on. I'm going to send you a link to apply. There it is. So guys, who we're looking for to work with, basically partner up with, we want, number one, people that are positive minded, someone that focuses on self-improvement, that's, very positive minded, that just kind of has that success frequency. So that's the number one requirement, bare minimum. You don't need to have the second one, but typically if you do have that mindset, you're somewhat successful in a previous endeavor. Maybe it was business, schooling, etc. So we're looking for people that already have that success mindset. If you're looking for a get rich quick scheme, you're check to check, you're just, looking for a shortcut, this is not going to be for you. Maybe the gold course, maybe a book. Andy, what was the book that you read that kind of sparked things for you?
Oh man, I've read so many. I read a lot of books. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, is probably a real good one.
Right. So we're looking for people that are kind of into that stuff. Okay.
Yeah, into that. Brandon, can you talk a little bit about that? Because I think it's important for people to understand, just like when you're screening and Eric is screening clients, Jade's screening clients, Terence is screening clients, they're asking certain questions. Excuse me, my nose is stuffed up. One thing that I try to do when I'm screening for people to, run a business or whatever it might be, is like, I'm not going down the normal question and answer, kind of Q&A BS. Like I'm asking stuff because I want to understand like what is making this person tick. So for example, when Brandon and I, it wasn't actually the first time we met, but when I was putting the ads out looking for somebody to kind of help out with Group Home Riches, like that's what I basically put on the advertisement. I'm like, have you read these types of books? Think and Grow Rich, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, so on and so forth. And of course, Brandon had. So I knew that this was a guy that, is into kind of self-mastery, improvement, so on and so forth. And, we tried to find the same type of people that want to really get started and make a dent in the Done For You program or Done With You program.
And we're going to know. Andy, you can know immediately after talking to somebody, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And here's another thing. We joke around and we call it woo-woo stuff, right? We call it woo-woo.
Yeah. Yep.
But have you ever met someone who's successful who's not into that stuff?
To be honest with you, I don't think I really have, I really don't. I think that there's probably some people out there that keep it kind of quiet or keep it hidden. And look,
Right.
maybe back in the day, like, when you had just the old school hardcore workhorses, but even those guys, if you really kind of like ask them questions, these guys are master pattern recognition folks. Like they know, they understand that you need the sunshine, you need the seed, you need the soil, you need the rain. Like they get it. They get it intuitively. So yeah, there's, preferably though you've read the books, because if you've read Think and Grow Rich and everything else, we know that you're gonna be able to make it.
Yep. So that's the kind of frequency that we're looking for.
I like that frequency. That's
Yeah,
exactly what it is.
if that makes sense, then I think bare minimum is probably worth talking.
Yeah.
But so that's couple requirements. Big goals is another one. And again, guys, we invest thousands into each project, so it's going to cost more than that. There's a couple different payment options. We'll go over all of those with you, but you do need at least $5,000 to start. Okay. We're not looking for people that are doing like a last minute home run, Hail Mary. We don't want to work with people where this is gonna, break the bank or increase your credit card bills or anything like that. So you do have to have money to invest in it. Guys, I'm dropping the application link in the chat. If you like what you hear so far, apply. We'll go over all the details with you, the full scope of work, and we'll go over all of the payment plans with you, either this week or next. But each one of the coaches is looking for new clients to work with. Jade, Eric, do I still have you guys on the call?
Yep.
Eric,
Yes.
how many new clients are you looking to take on this month?
As many as I can.
We're gonna do 3. We'll do three with Eric and Jade. I know you're going on vacation in a week or two, but after that, how many new clients are you looking to get?
I think the 3 to 5 sounds good.
Beautiful. So guys, we do have limited spots, and that's just because of the team's time. So again, we dedicate a lot of resources. One of the coolest parts, which is why I wanted to have Jade, Eric, and Terrence on, is that you basically get to have your hand held by one of them for 6 months. So Eric, do you kind of want to go through like what does that mean? Like what type of support do your clients get when they work with you?
So we exclusively communicate through our Discord chat. We do all of our updates there. The team communicates through there. It's not just me, right? So I'll be your coach, your project manager. But we also have folks running things in the background, the SEO, the ads, setting up meetings for you, doing the calls so that you don't have to. We do a lot of calls with organizations, and then a lot of check-ins, so there's a lot of back and forth. Any questions are answered in there.
Yeah, and it's I try to think of it, and you guys let me know if this is kind of comparable, but it's almost like a group chat, right? So
Yep.
it's not like a guaranteed, 5-minute, you're not going to get a response within like 30 seconds every time. But if you guys are available, you're treating it like a text chat, basically, correct?
Yep.
Yep. So, and again, guys, that's with the Done With You program. I dropped an application in there. So if you feel like you're qualified, you want to learn more, apply there, and we'll be setting up calls to go over all the details with everybody in the next week or two. Okay. We also offer one-on-one coaching, it's much different. It's not as much support. It's going to be 4 calls. And after each call, we're going to give you guys milestones. And with that, you have email support in between the calls. Each coach has a one-on-one coaching link. I'm going to drop this in the chat so you could check it out. But if you want to work directly with one of the coaches, you guys can email them directly. And I dropped that in the chat, but it's real easy. It's first name at grouphomeriches.com. So Terrence at grouphomeriches.com, Jade at grouphomeriches.com, and Eric at grouphomeriches.com. So if you're interested in just doing the one-on-one package, not the Done With You, but the one-on-one, It's 1,500 bucks, and you want to work with them, you guys can email them for their direct links. Okay. And again, if you're interested in the Done With You program, again, we have limited spots. I'm going to drop the application in the chat again. Apply, and we'll go over all the details with you and see if we'll be a good fit to work with each other. Now, let's go through the chat. You know what? I'm gonna go. Eric, do you still have about 10, 15 minutes?
I do.
Can you do me a favor and go through the chat and look for like some good questions that we can answer? You start at the top. I'm going to start at the bottom. Guys,
Okay.
you do not need to do the one-on-one coaching. You do not need to do the Done With You program. We told you and we showed you exactly what you can do today after this call. Type in rapid rehousing, your location, and you give a call. So in the chat, well, one, who's going to do that? Who's going to do that today or tomorrow?
Yeah, let's see who is going to do that. Raise your hand.
Nice.
Good.
So for the folks that are not ready to do that, or even the folks that, you know, they're ready to go, I want to hear the question. What's a question that's holding you back from making those calls, or what's a question that you would want asked before you pick up that call? Drop it in the chat. What's holding you back? Money, fear. Money is a great one, and we're going to get into that. Fear, Gloria, specifically, what are you scared of? Okay, Sarah, great question, and I think that's related to the money as well. Tim, thank you so much. Tim has such a great answer, and I'm gonna this was my answer, but I'm gonna go into it. Andy, how much money do you need up front in order to call these places?
Exactly.
And no money needed for calls. Thank you, Tim.
That's the thing, guys. Like there truly are in this business, there truly are no excuses.
See,
Right?
I can tell we talked about the frequency. I can tell Tim's on our frequency. He immediately goes, "Hey, no money needed for calls, guys." I do want to talk about that though. It's a really good question. And a lot of even our Done With You clients, they might not have the funds to purchase a property, right? And Andy, yeah, I know you didn't have this problem, but you can relate, right? There's probably some nervousness about like converting the properties.
Oh
Right.
yeah, big time. But I did it anyways.
So again, this is where it comes to the risk tolerance. So you don't need money first. We recommend, even if you have the money, don't put money into it. Build up your contact list, build up your confidence, start building your relationships until you feel confident enough to go either purchase a property, rent a property, and if you're absolutely broke, partner. Andy, you're a landlord.
Yes, sir.
I'm a gold course student. I'm check to check though. I spent my last $200 on the gold course. But Mr. Andy, I want to get into real estate investing. I want to start a company. I don't want to go the traditional route. I want to offer affordable housing. As you can see, homelessness is a massive problem in our area, correct?
It is.
But what you probably don't know, and most investors don't know, is that the government's literally spending billions in funding to solve that problem. Most landlords do not want to work with these organizations that get those funds. I've actually been studying the business model. I have all my systems in place. I actually have a MOU with an organization. They receive $17 million per year in funding to house these types of people. I already have a contract with them, but I do not have the property. I see you have a vacant property. It'd be perfect for this. I believe that we could gross around $6,000 or $7,000. We could gross it and net around $2,000 or $3,000 per month. Again, I'm just looking for a property that I can operate out of. I have everything ready to go. I'm willing to split that profit. Would you be interested in hearing more this week over coffee?
Absolutely. Yeah, without question. Like, it's that simple, guys.
So, we have Eric and Jade on the call still.
Yep.
Yep.
So Jade, me and you did this, right? So part of the Done With You program is that if the client can at least get a landlord that's willing to hop on the call, and we do have a database, but we recommend you guys kind of do this on your own. But if they're willing to get on the call, the coaches will actually pitch that landlord for you. It doesn't always work out, like the property might not be perfect, etc. In your guys' experience after talking with landlords, have you guys ever talked to a real estate investor and at least like they haven't at least been interested in it?
They've
Eric?
all been positive on my end.
Right. Eric, how about you?
Same.
Correct. I personally have never spoken with a real estate investor either for a client, at a real estate meetup, or even in just, personal networking. I've never talked about this business and not seen their eyes lit up. Okay. So, but here's the thing. If you guys don't have the gold course, if you guys don't understand the business model, if you guys haven't been doing your marketing, if you can't say a pitch like that confidently, why would a landlord want to work with you? Right? You need to be an asset. So how many of you can't say that? How many of you don't have any solid referral sources and don't have your systems in place and stuff like that? I don't know if people are going to be honest about that.
Guys, you got to be honest. You
Yeah.
got to be honest. I got to make a quick comment. So I was talking to one of my partners the other day, and I said to him, I think I actually said this yesterday on our Zoom call, but I was telling him, I'm like, I feel like I'm the only person that actually freaking calls people out on their bullshit, right? You gotta be self-aware and you gotta be honest, right? I know what my faults are. I know where I'm making mistakes. I know where I could improve. And I'm happy if people call me out on it because it is what it is. Now, will I necessarily change at this point in my life? I may not. I mean, there's definitely things I need to work on, but you guys got to be self-aware and you got to be honest with yourselves. If you are not lighting enough of a fire underneath your culo, as they like to say in Spanish, to get started, you got to find somebody else that's going to push you. I mean, there is a reason why, whether it was Magic Johnson, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, any of these guys, they've got coaches, right? Tiger Woods, all of them. So they have coaches. I just want to throw that out there.
Bingo. And I'm sorry, Andy, I was looking for my computer is overloaded, so I can't pull it up. I wanted to pull up the story of Jasmine. Jasmine is one of our students. Again, not a coaching client, not done with you. Just like Eric, got the gold course and just used our email support, right? Guys, money is not holding you back. Jasmine was literally in a homeless shelter when she purchased the gold course. How many of you are in a better financial situation than Jasmine was? I'll wait.
Yeah, let's see what everybody says.
Bingo. Me, yeah. I would guess most of you are not tuning in from a homeless shelter right now. So Jasmine followed the stuff in the gold course. She did her networking. She established a whole bunch of relationships in her area. She actually volunteered at a couple places, so they knew her well.
By
And
the
she,
way, that is a very, very, very smart thing to do. We
Yep.
actually used to do that for this one local nonprofit.
Yeah, it's such a great story. I'm trying to pull up the link, but guys, my computer is just not working with me today. But you can find it on our YouTube or on the podcast. But yeah, guys, she was literally homeless, did her networking. She made this is above average results, okay? But she made one call on Craigslist to a vacant property, and that landlord was so pumped up that he kept hounding her to work with her. And guys, she got 4 or 5 properties rocking and rolling in that first year. And now she's gone on to do amazing things in her
And she used to be homeless,
Yes,
right?
guys, within
But
1 year.
sorry, keep talking, Brandon.
No, you go ahead. I was just saying
The-
within 1 year, that's what she did. It
Yeah, the one thing I'm gonna make a comment about is that when you're homeless, every freaking day you have a fire being lit under your ass, right? Like you have to get going, right? The problem with a lot of people, including myself at this point and stage of my life, like I don't have to do any of this stuff anymore. Now, there's many of you out there that are like stuck, you're making your, 30, 40, 50 grand a year. Like it sucks, but it doesn't suck that bad, right? So you have to eventually tell yourself, I got to get going. Like one little trick that I used to always do, and I still do it, is I make sure that my bank account has no money in it. No,
I
I'm
love
serious. I'm totally serious. So like,
I like
I
it.
make sure that like I've got my savings. Like I don't touch it. I basically I do have a username and password, but like I don't have that username and password on my computer. It's in a folder. So I have to go into a filing cabinet, open up the filing cabinet, pull out the manila folder to find the username and password in order to look at my savings account. Okay. So I basically will not touch that money. It's in there. So I'm constantly broke. So it's kind of a mental game that I play with myself because I'm always having to juggle money around. Well, you guys might have to do the exact same type of thing if you've got a job. Just over broke is kind of what it stands for. JOB, just over broke. If you've got a job that is like, okay, I can pay my bills, I can pay my gas, I can pay my Netflix. Hopefully, you're not watching Netflix. Um, and you're just kind of scraping by. You gotta put enough pressure on yourself to actually make a decision and change.
Beautiful. I love the zero in the bank account. I might do that.
Yeah, and it's definitely not zero or I'd be really screwed, but like, I'm constantly having to juggle. Like even this lady just called me a second ago or texted me because I'm refinancing something. And she's like, hey, we have to do like an amendment for our Secretary of State stuff. Do you want me to do it? I'm like, yeah. She's like, which card do you want me to put it on? This one or this one? I wrote her back. I'm like, yeah, put it on, this specific card because I think the other one is maxed out. Like, guys, I have stuff that's maxed out all the freaking time. Why? I mean, I could pay it all off, but I'm not going to do that. I'd rather punish myself by having to pay high interest fees than tap into my savings. So it forces me to constantly work.
Yeah, I think you just need to everybody's motivation is different. What motivates me is and I think everybody out there can kind of feel this and sense it coming on, but we've said it before. I didn't invent it, but it's kind of I think there's going to be have-nots and have-yachts. I don't think there's going to be much of a middle class anymore. Andy, would you agree with that?
That's where this all goes, right? I mean, you're going to have people that own all the assets, they've got money, and then you've got everybody else. So what we're really kind of showing you guys how to do is the everybody else that we just mentioned, the have yachts and the have nots. We're showing you how to house the have nots. That's what we're showing you how to do. We're going to take a yacht and you are living in the yacht, and you are going to house the have-nots.
It's a complete win-win. Win.
It's
Win-win.
it's a 360 win. You're
Yeah.
going to feel good about what you're doing. You're helping out your community. And in the interim, you're going to get paid for doing it. And it's scalable. Guys, the other beauty with this business, we're not teaching you how to go flip a house where you probably will actually lose money. But like, even if you did make money and you made 20 grand or 30 grand or whatever it is, like you're going to make that one time. Like I'm showing you and Brandon's showing you and all the coaches are showing you how to create a sustainable business, right? This is a sustainable business. So when the economy collapses, guess who wins? You're going to win. I mean, it sounds bad, but it's the truth. Why are you going to win? Because there's nobody doing this business. And number two, there's 5x the amount of people that need affordable housing. So that's how you win. And then once you get this thing going, you got a couple years tax returns. There's plenty of you guys that could already do this, but for everybody else that can't do this right now, you can go and start buying real estate with the free cash flow that you're making. It is unbelievable. So the next thing you know, you go out and you get an SBA loan to buy the real estate because none of the banks are going to be lending, assuming like a worst case situation. So you go get an SBA loan, you're locked in at 4% over 30 years. So every like you buy a $200,000 house, it's costing you $8,000 a year to own it. Okay. And then the currency gets completely wiped out and debased. The next thing you know, your $200,000 house that you bought for 200 grand, it's worth 400 grand or 500 grand. I mean, this is how this game works. We're showing you what the model is, what the strategy is. We've got the blueprint in the gold course. We will do this with you in the Done For You program, in the Done With You program, whatever we want to call it. We've got coaches, and you guys can see and look into the minds of Terrence, of Jade, of Eric. I mean, these are smart individuals that have already figured out the game. They will walk you and hold your hand through the whole process. So I don't know. I'm a big advocate of it.
It was your cash vehicle, right? So
Yes,
I think
absolutely.
it's especially now, you need that. There's no way. I don't think you can just get a job and really live comfortably
You
anymore.
can't. You
I
cannot.
went to Chick-fil-A yesterday and it was $15 for my own meal, just myself. It's
Dude, I'm actually surprised it
insane.
was only $15.
Well, I didn't get anything, no extras or nothing fancy, right? No dessert. But yeah, I don't think you can really live comfortably anymore with just like a regular job.
You can't. The
And
other thing I got to throw out also, guys, is that if you guys are getting paid via W-2, which is, trust me, it's not a bad thing at all, but you are getting the living SHIT wiped out of you every 2 weeks when you get paid. You got your FICA, you got your FUTA, you got your SUTA, you got, so you got all these taxes. The next thing you know, 50% of your paycheck's gone. Okay. When you own your own business, yes, you can pay quarterly, but you can also opt to pay at the end of the year. You also get the 179A deduction. There's so many ancillary benefits of running a business, right? So last couple of weeks, I've been trying to get all my books cleaned up for my 2023 taxes because I always file extensions. Anyways, long story short, I'm looking at my books and I have to redo some journal entries and stuff that the bookkeepers messed up on. But I'm realizing like, man, I am so lucky to have this business. This thing produces a ton of money, right? And I've got home office deductions. There's a lot of amazing deductions that come along with owning your own business as well.
it's not just the middle class, getting wiped out, but there's no way no one really wants to just be comfortable anyways, right? Like if you're on this call and you made it this far, chances are you have bigger goals than just getting by, right? So, and there's no way that you're going to save your way into being wealthy, right? Andy, do you
You
know
can't do it. It's impossible. And now, granted, now people you can get 5% or whatever in a money market. But guys, you save up $100,000, it pays you $5,000 a year. Inflation realistically is probably running damn near 8, 9, 10%. You're losing money even when they're paying you 5%. So you're not saving your way to wealth. It's impossible. You have to have your own business.
There's not many things out there either. There's, like high ticket sales jobs that you could earn a couple hundreds of thousands. Real estate flipping, maybe flips, rehabs, wholesaling.
Which I actually don't think is a very good
It's
business.
it's super competitive. It's you're competing with people like me and Andy and hundreds of other wholesalers in your area. There's just not that many vehicles out there. I'm trying to, what else? There's like e-com, right? But if you've made it this far, this clearly interests you. You see the potential, and also just think of the advantages. One huge advantage that I like about it is the supply and demand, right? So like let's take real estate investing as an example, Andy. We put out the mailers, we make the calls, right?
Yeah.
We buy houses cash.
Yep.
Right? Who do we want to call us?
We want motivated people to call us, motivated sellers.
Out of 5,000 letters that we send, how many actual motivated sellers will call us?
You're look, there's plenty of people that are broke and do need to sell, but you're lucky if you get a 3% response rate. Lucky.
Yeah. Response. That's not even qualified. Maybe I would think you probably have to send about, I don't even know, probably 10,000 letters per good lead.
Yep.
Anyways, a good lead for the flipping business is someone that's willing and needs to sell their property for pennies on the dollar.
Right.
So again, how many are out there? We were making about 300 or 400 calls per day in order to do like maybe one deal a month, guys. Okay. It's literally, it's not a needle in a haystack. It's a needle in a whole, field, right?
Damn near impossible.
And there's so many investors, right? Think of all the We Buy Houses cash signs. Those are people that are doing flipping and wholesaling. Okay. On the flip side, look outside. I want you guys and answer in the chat. How many people need affordable housing in your area? Let's see if we have any good guesses. You can see outside that people need affordable housing, correct? I think so. Tons of, Gloria's in California. Holy crap. You could go watch videos a lot. Yes, they're coming in. So you can clearly see it, right? How much advertising have you guys ever seen in your area for this type of housing? Andy, how many pieces of advertising have you ever seen?
Let me ask you a question. The guys that are selling drugs, big drugs, making billions and billions and billions of dollars, and they're, some might say they're doing it along with some nondescript agencies. How many advertisements do you see of them? None. They're doing it in silence. They're doing it stealth wealth. There are so many people out there that are part of this industry. They don't want to let you know that they're making money. Right? Like, but there are billions and billions and billions of dollars flowing around, but you see no advertisements for it whatsoever. None. So who's getting it? Well, if you guys get off your rear ends, you'll start getting some of it.
Yeah, and I don't think there's many people that are advertising this.
Nobody's advertising it. Why would they? They do not want to attract attention to their business.
Yep. And this is why when you do pick up the phone, you start talking to these people. As Kelly said yesterday, she was treated as an angel. Okay.
Yep.
Because the thing is, guys, there is a huge supply there's billions of dollars into it, and there's very little people out there that are even interested in this enough to sit on a webinar like this and learn the business. So if you can take those first couple of steps, it's a pretty good situation to be in business, right? Andy, would you love to be in a business where there's too much demand and not enough supply? What does that mean
That's
for
what
people?
you want.
Yeah, what does that mean for the people that provide the solution?
Means they make lots and lots and lots of money. I mean, why do you guys think that there's like a war going on in Mexico, right? Because there's only like 4 or 5 cartels, and they're trying to, kill each other because there's so much demand for their product, right? I mean, and they're all vying for it. Again, that's I'm using probably a bad analogy because we're actually in a business where you can feel good about what you're doing. But the point I'm making is that there's a ridiculous amount of demand in that business, and there's those guys own the supply. Well, we're showing you guys it doesn't matter where you live, whether it's New York, Miami, Florida, Tampa, Florida, Houston, Texas, Dallas, anywhere in California. There is nobody doing what you're doing. There are, but like you're not going to have any competition, and there is so much demand. You got to get started. You really got to get started. Super important.
Guys, there's so many questions, but I see that Eric and Jade have been going in there and kind of answering them. So guys, thank you so much for doing that. I saw one, Andy, we'll wrap up in a couple minutes
Yeah.
if that's cool with you. So I saw one that asked about the VA, like, hey, what should a VA do? And it brings up a very good point. So I think if everyone's made it here, drop a yes in the chat. But is this a business that you guys want to start in the next couple of months and get a couple homes rocking and rolling? If so, drop a yes in the chat. Drop a yes. I see a whole bunch of new ones coming in. Look, there is like we said, it's not just a get rich quick thing. And the reason why I wanted to show you guys these real life examples is because it's not something that you can just go and apply for, right? You can't go to Grace Point and just fill out an application and boom, you get clients. You have to do this type of networking. You have to build the relationships. It's just part of the business. And there is a lot of stuff that needs to be done in the beginning. So someone asked about a VA. I love that. You're thinking ahead, like, all right, I'm ready to take action. Like what can I do? Or what can a VA do, right? It's really, again, your guys's strategy for starting this, again, just depends on your resources, basically, your risk tolerance. How quick do you want to go? You can totally do all this stuff on your own, okay? But I will send out an email with the recording, with the application to the Done With You program. And I'll also include the scope of work so you guys can kind of look over everything that's included. And you can use that as your guideline. So to answer, hey, what can a VA do? Our virtual assistants with the Done With You program, they're going to be doing everything. They're going to build that list, which is about 1,000 contacts. That takes forever. That's like a week's worth of full work.
Yeah.
They're gonna do
full on week.
Yeah, that takes a ton of time, guys.
There's a couple $1,000 right there.
Yeah, imagine going through, again, you could totally do this, right? We show you how to do this. We show you how to build the list, how to find these places, etc. So you're going to build the list. You're going to send them that email. I gave you guys the pitch that we use. We have sample emails and pitches in the gold course as well. But hey, we're a new real estate company. We plan on opening homes. See that you have a, blah, blah, blah program. I'd just like to get more information. As someone pointed out earlier in the chat, I saw, hey, I made a call and nobody called me back. So Andy, can you just send one email and then they send you clients? Or
No.
like,
The
right?
name of the game is follow-up, guys. And it takes a lot of time, energy, effort, and work. I mean, this is what sales is. You're gonna have to work, and you're gonna have to follow up. You can't just send them one email and expect a one and done. It's just not gonna happen.
Yeah. So that's what our virtual assistants do. They're going to go look at, like, they're going to follow the money. They're going to do research in your area. They're going to find the housing forwards, and they're going to hound these people until we can get them on a call with you and your coach. Okay. So that's something that you can be spending your time on, calling and the follow-up. There's also website creation, building your website. That's a very big project as well. Someone asked about our option. I can't pull anything up. It's pretty frustrating. But Eric, Jade, Andy, even you, if you can find the website link and drop it in the chat, that'd be cool. Not needed.
Yeah.
But website creation, search engine optimization. So there's a whole bunch of content that you can do and post on your blog so you show up in these searches. There's Google Ads set up. There's business listings set up. There's copywriting. So Eric and Terrence mentioned it. Their leads came, they don't even remember the exact call or where it came from. It was through their email marketing. So that's something that you or a virtual assistant could do, or you could use our team. Like I said, after the first typically 30 to 45 days, once you kind of get comfortable and confident and you're ready to rock and roll, we'll start sending out those emails to the massive list that the assistants have built up for you. And it's a campaign of 10 emails. That's all gone through a CRM, which is linked to your website. I am purposely kind of bombarding you guys to show you that you can definitely keep yourself very busy or a virtual assistant forever. Forever. And guys, I'll include the scope of work. So you get one, you can check that out, but you can also use that as kind of a game plan. But I do not want you guys to get bogged down. Like I said, there's a lot of work that could be done. I think that a lot of people make the bad habit of doing that instead of just picking up the phone. Everybody here can do the search in your area and make a phone call today, or go in person, or email them, or all of the above. Ton of questions. I apologize if we didn't answer. We tried to keep it kind of general and hopefully answered a lot of questions just in the content, guys. The Done With You program, please check out the application. And if you feel like you're qualified, I want you to apply and we'll go over all the details with you. Again, we're looking to take on a couple new clients in the next week or two.
And keep in mind, I know Brandon's already harped on this, but you guys heard what Jade said, you heard what Terrence said, you heard what Eric said. These guys are limited, we are limited, right? So we can't sell 100 of these things. We can only sell a finite amount of them, right? So it's first come, first serve. You gotta apply, and if we can take you, we'll take you. If not, we can get you on the waiting list.
Bingo. Yeah, and sometimes we do have to do that, guys. So we can put people on the wait list. Sometimes you might have to wait for 30 days because, again, once you see the scope of work, you're going to see how much stuff goes into it. It's too much to go with on this call. So if you're interested, feel like you're qualified, apply at that link, and we will have a dedicated call to you. Someone on the staff will go over all the details, answer every one of your questions, and make sure that it's going to be a good fit for you. And they'll go over all the payment options as well on that. And we have a ton of products for everybody else. So if you're not a Gold Course member, sign up for the Gold Course. If you don't have the $200 to do that, join the school group. The school group is awesome.
It's what Brandon, what is it, like $10 a month?
It's $10 per month, guys.
Okay, forego 2 Starbucks coffees, because Starbucks coffees are now like $5 a pop.
Bare minimum, even if you don't participate in school, would a coaching call like this once a month with me and Andy, would that be worth $10 a month? I'm hoping we're giving at least $10 in value, Andy. Let's see what they say.
There's so much value that you guys will get once you start this business.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about even just joining school. The amount of relationships, friendships, feeling, health, wealth that you will gain out of starting this business, it's like it's like nothing you can ever imagine. And you just got to get started. One little group home, just one little group home, and then another year you have another one, and then another year you got four more of them. You got to see the doors that it will open for you, the contacts, the relationships, the amount of people that you're helping. It's unbelievable. The amount of bankers that you'll wind up meeting. Then the next thing you know, you're buying real estate. And then 15, 20 years later, you wake up and you're buying hotels. Um, there's it's absolutely incredible. So I'm just trying to push you guys to get started. Whether you do it on your own, whether you do it simply by watching YouTube videos, or whether you do it with us, whether it's the website development, or even if it's just the gold course or school, or if you want us to do it with you, which is awesome, if that's what you would like, we will do it with you.
Yeah, guys, we're getting like questions about the pricing. The school group is $10 per month. I would say it's just a bonus, but we do an exclusive call with all for school members once a month with me and Andy. Hopefully that's worth it. If not, you have access to over 2,000 people like yourself at all various kind of stages in their career. This is where we get a lot of the podcast guests from. So many of the podcast guests that you've listened to, they're active in the school group. We see that and we invite them on, but they're out there networking. Idris, you brought up like bringing up making friends, Andy. Idris does a meetup in Atlanta, I think once a month, and people in there they're meeting each other. They're organizing meetups. They're going to real estate investor meetings together. There's partnerships that are getting done. Just on the call yesterday with Kelly, remember we did the calculator experiment?
Yeah. Yes.
And she got, oh, hey, I'm in your area. I'd love to be
Yeah.
your operational manager.
Yeah.
We,
Yeah. Think about that, guy. This was live,
yeah.
literally real time. Kelly's talking about how she needs an operational manager. Boom. 5 minutes later, guess what happens? She's got somebody that wants to run it.
That happens on almost every call. We'll see like either an investor pop in that's looking to work with people, or we make a connection like that. It's all totally unrehearsed. We freestyle it most of the time.
Everything. We're not here to sell you guys. We're telling you we're here to basically help you out, improve your life. I mean, Kelly's living it firsthand right now.
Yep. Eric, Jade, do we still have you guys?
Yep. But I need to drop off pretty soon.
Yeah, we'll wrap up. Thank you guys so much for
Yeah,
joining.
thanks for staying on, guys.
To
No problem.
Andy's point, Eric, how long was the script that I gave you for the webinar today?
4 pages. No, we have no script.
Absolute zero. Jade, can you vouch for that?
I vouch. There was nothing.
Eric wanted to do something early to do a walkthrough, and I said, nope, just hop on and follow my lead. So yeah, guys, we do it once a month. So join that in the school group. Again, done with you, it's expensive. Okay. So you need at least 5,000 to start. There's multiple payment options, but the total price is going to be between, and it says right on the application page. Okay. Total price is going to be between 13 and 16,000. Okay. We need to change that. But it's because we have multiple payment options. Again, we have financing available, but we only want to work with people that are qualified and are not going to be, this is not going to cause financial stress. Okay. So you need at least 5K that you can invest. And then we went over all the other characteristics that we're looking for. But check this out. It goes over kind of what we do for you. Apply, and then we'll go over all the details with you guys. So if you're even curious after hearing everything today, apply here and we'll reach out to book a call with you if for if we feel like you're qualified. Guys, thank you so much for hopping on. We had a ton of people on, so I wasn't able to get through all the questions. If you guys had a specific kind of question on anything that we didn't cover on the call, please feel free to reach out to me or Andy. It's Brandon@grouphomeriches.com and Andy@grouphomeriches.com. I know we threw a ton of stuff at you, so we'll throw I'm going to be emailing the recording and all the links to everything that we talked about on the call. Eric, are you still there?
Yep, I'm here.
Go ahead. Any parting words for the folks out there?
Take action, work with us, get your business started. Let's go.
Let's do it. Jade, to you, any parting words for the folks out there?
No, I'll just echo Eric. Just take the action, and we're here to assist if you want our help.
How relieved did you feel after our first call, Jade?
Oh, I was just like, okay, this was all in my head the whole time. All these years, it's all in my head. Are you serious?
Yeah, she waited years. It was, and now look at she's doing it on her own. She's pitching investors. She's getting a ton of successful students. So yeah, I would echo, take action, 100%. Hey, we gave you guys the action. Make the call. You have time today. Andy, throw it back to you, sir.
I'm going to say the same thing Eric just said. Take action, work with us, get your business started.
Bingo. All right, guys.
And do it quick, guys. Like don't wait around him and Han thinking about it.
Yeah, the longer you wait, it's like the more the fear builds up. You know what I tell my son? How to get over the fear of doing something, Andy? Guess.
Probably give him the Nike treatment. Just do it.
Bingo. Bingo. When he was at a playground, I would make him go approach other kids if he was nervous about it, or we would not go get ice cream afterwards. So
yeah, I like that.
So guys, make that call, do it. If you have questions, email us. Thank you so much for hopping on. We had a ton of people, so thank you guys for joining us. And it was midday, so thank you guys for hopping on in the middle of the week. Great questions. I apologize if we couldn't get to everything, but email us. And again, Jade, Eric, thank you so much for joining and staying on. Andy, as usual, we went, of course, way over.
Yeah, we always go over. But guys, one more thing. I know that there are a lot of questions out there that maybe didn't get answered. If you are interested in working with us with the Done With You program, and you've got questions that maybe we didn't answer right here on the chat, apply. If you've got a couple $1,000 saved up and you've got the mental mindset that we're looking for, apply. So that's simple.
Yeah, we're not just gonna email you back, guys. You'll have a full, hour or two if you need it to go over all the details of the program and get all your questions answered. So yeah, hit that application link. Again, I'll email it. I dropped it in the chat a bunch of times. But yeah, Andy, thank you so much for coming on, spieling with me, going over.
Thank you guys very much.
But they stayed, they loved it. So thank you again to Jade, Eric, and Terrence, and thank you guys for joining us.
Get out there and help people, guys.
All right. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thanks, Eric. Thanks.
Yeah.
Bye.